Gurney, it's time. Bring the prisoners.
My lord.
This is Paul Atreides.
I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides,
From Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
Duke of Arrakis! Don't stand with your back to the door.
He's about to put his hand in this box.
Put your right hand in the box.
And he's only got one question.
What's in the box?
Pain.
And this is also Paul Atreides.
I know, Thufir, I'm sitting with my back to the door.
In David Lynch's Dune.
You wore a still suit before.
From 1984.
No.
The same character 40 years apart.
Your desert boots are fitted slip fashion at the ankles. Who taught you to do that?
From two very different movies.
Your suit is fitted desert fashion. Who told you how to do that?
By two very different directors.
It seemed the proper way.
It seemed the right way.
And Lynch's Paul is also about to put his hand in the box.
Put your right hand in the box.
This is how the scene begins in the old Dune movie. And this is the same moment in the new one.
You dismissed my mother in her own house.
Come here. Kneel.
In Lynch's version, the Reverend Mother's voice seems to have more of a mind control effect on Paul, compelling him to walk forward in a conscious way. But in New Dune, the voice seems more powerful.
Come here. Kneel.
The Bene Gesserit can use something called as the voice in order to control the other human's will.
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
His whole body is being controlled against his will, and he's not happy about it.
How dare you use the voice on me?
Next, we have the box.
You see this?
In Old Dune, we don't get any close-ups of it, and it kind of just looks like a modern lockbox. But in New Dune,
We basically went with the description that was in the book, bringing it feeling of something ancient.
it's the same with the Gom Jabbar.
I hold at your neck, the Gom Jabbar.
We don't get any close-ups in Old Dune, and it kind of just looks like a thimble with a needle on the end. And in New Dune,
I hold at your neck the Gom Jabbar.
We had a great time designing those needles. I wanted them to be ancient.
the point of this scene is to show Paul overcoming his animalistic instincts to avoid pain.
Are you suggesting a duke's son is an animal?
And how do they show this in Old Dune?
Your awareness may be powerful enough to control your instincts. Your instinct will be to remove your hand from the box.
But in New Dune, they only need one line.
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
This scene represents the differences between Denis Villeneuve's
I would
Dune
not have let you hurt my friends.
and David Lynch's Dune.
I would not have permitted you to harm my tribe.
But first, calling it David Lynch's Dune might upset David Lynch.
Dune, I didn't have final cut on. I started selling out even in the script phase. It was a slow dying the death. Terrible, terrible experience.
When it released, it wasn't exactly well received.
The biggest disappointment of the year is Dune.
It was billed as a big event movie,
Dune.
The science fiction spectacular based on Frank Herbert's novel about the universe of the future.
but it's safe to say it didn't live up to these expectations.
I think this is the worst thing that's being released this Christmas. I really hated the film.
Guess I'm not in the mood today.
Obviously, both versions are based off Frank Herbert's original book.
Mood's a thing for cattle and love play.
But with Villeneuve's version, it finally feels like we have the definitive adaptation of Frank Herbert's story.
You fight when the necessity arises, no matter the mood.
Before, they were campy and over the top,
Give me spice!
and the visual effects hadn't really reached a level to do the story justice. But now we've got a director who's no stranger to sci-fi,
I've never retired something that was born before.
who makes serious films with a strong atmosphere,
What's the difference?
and best of all, loves the Dune books.
To be born is to have a soul, I guess.
Every time someone asks me what was one of my biggest dreams in cinema, I always answer to adapt Dune.
The most obvious difference between Villeneuve's version and Lynch's version
Is that a worm?
is the aesthetic.
Rum sign.
This is Caladan in Old Dune,
I have to go on ahead alone.
and this is Caladan in New Dune.
Yes, I'm going to Arrakis tomorrow with the advanced team.
In Old Dune, Gadi Prime has more of an industrial and grimy aesthetic,
Poison has been introduced into your body through Fahawaz.
and there's elements of body horror, like these poor animals.
By milking this smooth little cat's body, you receive your antidote.
And a real obsession with bodies opening up and emitting various kinds of noxious fluids.
But New Gadi Prime is darker, more sleek and minimalist.
Gedi Prime is a plastic world, an artificial world cut from nature, a totalitarian environment.
And Arrakis is shown with lots of wide shots to establish the scale of the planet.
There are times to create that scale, we actually physically ran out of room.
The characters are very small in the frame, the interiors often dwarf the actors, and there's a grandness and gravitas to the locations.
That sandworm's only 12 stories high. This should be 45 stories high. And often that scale has to occur being down at ground level.
Whereas Old Dune is much more intimate in comparison. Most scenes are inside.
Subfloor 6 through 10.
And the design is more detailed. It's very ornamental and full of intricate matte paintings and over-the-top costumes.
If Fade wishes, he can meet you with my blade in his hand.
Look at Fufi Hawat in New Dune.
He's here, my lord.
And then in Old Dune.
You'll make a formidable duke.
Lynch's version is more melodramatic.
Get out of my mind!
It doesn't take itself too seriously.
Not until you tell them both who I really am.
Whereas New Dune has more weight to it.
My road leads into the desert.
It's a very modern looking film that goes for a realistic and grounded aesthetic.
If you'll have us,
And it feels more like a serious prestige sci-fi movie.
we will come.
Whereas Old Dune is more surrealist. It's elaborate, grungy, and ultimately quite over the top.
Where's my doctor?
Villeneuve takes his time in building the world and setting up the characters.
Not stain your hands on this animal.
The plot unfolds slowly,
Let me deal with him.
leaving us enough time to think about the story's themes.
Each one of these drinks every day the equivalent of 5 men.
It's my burden, Gurney.
Old Dune is much faster paced, but still has the same basic plot points.
This is a Harkonnen animal. Let me. Please, my lord.
The Atreides arrive on Arrakis.
How does it feel to walk on a new world?
Paul finds a hunter-seeker drone. They check out a spice harvester, which gets attacked by a worm.
It must not be easy to work with sandworms.
Then the Harkonnens attack and Leto dies.
Your bloodline ends forever.
Paul and Jessica flee into the desert.
It's further than I thought!
They join the Fremen.
This is the Duke's son.
Paul becomes Lisan al-Gaib and rides the worm,
It's all about casting.
until he fights Fade at the end.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Gotta get the right size worm.
So what's the big difference? Well, Villeneuve's Dune is 2 movies, and Lynch's is 1.
It was squeezed because in those days, the maximum length they figured I could have is 2 hours and 17 minutes, and that's what the film is.
So the same story that unfolds over 5 hours and 22 minutes in the new version unfolds over 2 hours and 17 minutes in the old version.
It was like compacted. It hurt it. It hurt it.
So what does this actually look like in the film? Well, this is the very first scene with the Fremen.
I will take the boy, man.
There's no fight with Jamis. Paul doesn't have to prove himself to be accepted. And he chooses his Fremen name at the end of this scene.
Could I be known as Paul Muad'Dib?
And literally only 10 minutes later, Paul is the leader of the Fremen.
I am Usul, Paul Muad'Dib.
So it's, again, money talking so they wouldn't lose a screening a day.
I want you to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze.
Not for the film at all.
This is only the second scene with Channing.
Johnny, I love you. I've always loved you.
There's only 20 minutes between the Atreides arriving on Arrakis and the Harkonnens attacking. All of Villeneuve's Part 2 happens in pretty much 45 minutes in the Lynch version, which results in a lot of exposition like this.
We don't know much about the Fremen. They live in the deep desert, some of them in the cities.
Did you really think you could bear the Kwisatz Haderach?
They have blue within blue eyes.
The universe is super being.
The film spends a lot of time just telling us stuff,
Planet Arrakis, source of the spice.
which distracts from what is otherwise a simple hero's journey.
More deep.
Compare it to Star Wars. Both have relatively similar stories,
I give you the word bond of a Bene Gesserit.
I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
with a lot of world building and lore,
Emperor Shaddam the Fourth.
Welcome, young Skywalker.
but Star Wars works because it puts all of this to the side to focus on the characters. Whereas Dune tries to juggle all of these lore aspects.
We have just folded space from X.
But there just isn't enough time to do them justice.
Many machines on X.
It ends up feeling rushed
Do you have any information on the worms of Arrakis?
and way too exposition heavy.
That's the big lesson. Don't make a film if it can't be the film you want to make.
There have been documented sightings of worms as large as 450 meters in the deep desert.
It's a joke, and a sick joke, and it'll kill you.
But New Dune has time to build this world more organically
On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
and sets things up without being overly explicit or intrusive.
Desert power.
It gradually reveals the lore in a natural way, rather than just telling it to our face.
It is the legend.
It's seamlessly integrated into the dialogue and the world,
And grandfather fought bulls for sport. Yes.
rather than told through clunky voiceovers.
Pure unrefined spice.
In Old Dune, sometimes we'll get a close-up of a character while soft, reverb-induced internal monologues explain what they're thinking.
He's hiding something about the spice.
This is sometimes effective,
Hunter-seeker can't get me if I don't move.
but can often interrupt the flow of a scene.
I'd know the difference. Yes, perhaps he would have that.
The film starts with a big exposition dump from Irulan.
Know then that it is the year 10,191.
We then get even more exposition from the Spacing Guild.
Planet Kaitane, home of the Emperor of the known universe.
This is a lot different to New Dune, which starts with a short narration from Chani
My planet Arrakis is so beautiful when the sun is low.
before going straight into Paul's story.
Father wants you in full dress before the Emperor's herald arrives.
Villeneuve saved the Emperor for his second film, whereas Lynch opens with him.
Yes, my lord.
It's the same with Fade, who's introduced much earlier in Old Dune.
I will kill him!
Paul's sister is actually born,
He is here now.
but Jessica has a much smaller role.
Paul.
Villeneuve also includes lots of different languages in his film.
There was a dialogue coach on set that was making sure that they had the right pronunciation. One day I was having a shot that was quite complex, and I said, okay, we got it. And the dialect coach came to me and said, actually, the pronunciation was not actually correct. And I was like, I said, come on, brother, it's a fake language.
But in Old Dune, it's all in English.
Take him to his desert.
Another difference is the inclusion of the Guild Navigators. These are the guys who fold space and time to make interstellar travel possible. They're mentioned in Villeneuve's film,
3 guild navigators, a total of 1.46 million, 62 Solaris round trip.
but we actually see them in Lynch's. And for 1984, the effects are impressive. But the same can't be said for the shields, or the worm riding. Today, visual effects are much more advanced, but this doesn't mean they always look great. But for Dune, in paying attention to the lighting, relying on practical effects, and using more grounded cinematography, it makes the film look much more realistic than your typical blockbuster. Even when they're using a fake digital camera, it still moves in a way that feels possible and realistic.
It will sound close to the spirit of an helicopter. It must not sound like an helicopter, but in the same family.
Look at this scene. The camera isn't being used just to show off the visual effects. Instead, they're obscured by dust and smoke.
And I wanted the design and the technology to feel familiar.
Or here, where the lighting of the ship blows the image completely into black.
Something that you will recognize right away, you will believe right away, you will not question.
The clarity of the visuals and sometimes getting to see the coolest element of the shot is sacrificed in order to get a more realistic image.
I didn't want it to be distracting. More important, I wanted to look as real as possible.
This minimalist, grounded and deliberate approach seems to be the mantra of Villeneuve's filmmaking. His style isn't in your face. It's subtle, very formal, and technically flawless.
I found my own way to it. Maybe you'll find yours.
That was my focus, to protect the intimacy of the story.
Father, I found my way.
But for Lynch's Dune, it's kind of the opposite. It's bold, detailed, over the top and fast paced.
The forms of Canley have been obeyed!
It throws a lot at the wall. Some of it sticks, and some of it doesn't.
Spotter control. There's no sign of the carryall.
It's not really concerned with telling a grounded story, but rather pushing the weird and unique aspects of this world to their limits. Despite telling the same narrative, they're two very different films. One that looks like this.
You young pup. You young pup.
And one that looks like this.
You young puppy! You young pup!
One with characters like this.
You'll have a new poison gas tooth.
And one with characters like this.
Breathe out, and you will fill the air with poison.
This is a performance in Old Dune.
Do not show the slightest pity or mercy!
And this is one in New Dune.
Claim Iraq's fate.
When Paul has his hand in the box at the start of the movie,
Silence.
this is how Lynch shows his pain.
Pain!
No! Enough!
But in New Dune, instead of just enduring it, he overcomes it. And we know this not through any dialogue, but just a simple change in his expression, a music cue, and some editing.
Enough.
Thank you for watching.